Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Sistas. We are on season 7, episode 17, entitled Taste of Freedom. Jordan wakes up after being drugged the previous evening by intern Ethan, and immediately after that you see Gary looking at a picture of Jordan being all tied up and in some compromising positions with some women of the evening, some prostitutes, for lack of a better term. And Ethan is proud of his work. You know, he's like a successful son in his father's eyes. He thinks he's done a great job. Gary's also proud that he's gone a step further and he's hired, paid double, in fact, for a male prostitute to show up and get in on the action. And then Ethan asked him, like, hey, what you plan on doing with these photos? Which, Ethan, shut the hell up, because what the hell you think you're going to do with these photos? He ain't taking them for the Girl Scout cookie pamphlet. Why else would he be taking them? Either way, he thinks that it's enough to ruin Jordan's career, so he's got some good leverage, and, of course, these are going to come back to bite Jordan here by the end of the episode, of course. All right. Andy shows up at Jordan's. He's what he presumes to be hungover, even though he doesn't recall drinking as much. That would give him such a, again, presumed hangover. He doesn't remember even drinking enough to feel like that, and he also can't remember anything after a certain time period during the night. She offers to make him dinner to take his mind off of everything, and then we'll deal with that later on in the episode. And so it looks like Jordan has let his guard a little bit too far down, and I am not sure, because before Penelope, correct me, Ethan was an intern before Penelope went missing? Or after? I don't know. Because I don't know. I don't know how he could have let his guard so far down that he ended up in such a compromising position. And I'm willing to blame it on the fact that he was distracted by the fact that his sister is presumed missing. But I can't be 100% sure as to when Ethan showed up. So I'm just going to say that is the case. Either way, we're at the bank, and Sabrina asks Maurice about him and Grayson. He's starting to feel a little bit smothered, but he is sad that they're not as tight as they once were. Then Rich shows up with a smoothie to try and smooth things over. No pun intended, but it was funny. And he tries to make some small talk, but Sabrina's not having it. She's not having any of it. And then he goes on to apologize, and then she realizes that he thinks that I was going to trap him, like I was trying to trap him. So no, I'm about to put my foot down and let him know what I really feel about the situation. And so she tells him, listen, we should put a hold on this whole intimacy aspect of the relationship until all this baby stuff is settled, so that there's no cloudy thoughts in your head about whether I'm trying to trap you or not. And he's like, no, ho. I might have thought you trying to trap me, but don't take the good loving away from me. She's like, no, sir. We can either do it, this way, or we cannot do it at all. These are your choices. We can either put a pause. I'm not saying that we're breaking up, but what I'm saying is we're going to remove the intimacy piece of it in order to quell your concerns and mine as well. And again, she literally tells him, like, listen, the kiddie club is shut down. It really is shut down. You can either take it or lose it. I mean, take it or leave it. And I'm really glad that she put that clear line of delineation in place. However, she tells Andy further in the episode that she thinks she's wasting her time. So if that is your true thoughts and feelings, taking away the intimacy is only going to add more issue. Throw more salt in the wounds that already exist. So just go ahead and cut your losses. Wipe your hands and just move on. But that is just me. All right. Fatima sees Miss Willis, and they skinning and grinning, child. Miss Willis shows up at the office with Hayden, and they almost looking like lovebirds skipping through a field of wildflowers. Like, it was very much nauseous to look at. Either way, she confronts Hayden, and he claims that Miss Willis's driver got sick and she needed his assistance. Blase blah, what the hell ever. And she simply needed a ride. And he wants to flip it on Fatima and tells her, like, listen, I know you confront me because you want to get back in my pants. And she was like, sir, there's pencils thicker than what's going on in your nether regions. Don't worry about it, my guy. Either way, whatever. He might be feeling himself at this particular point, while at the same time taking his eyes a little bit too far off Tamara. But both of y'all are doing your own little thing, so I don't even see why the relationship even matters for either one of y'all. But whatever. We'll deal with it. Okay. Fatima calls Andy to tell her what she had just saw as far as Miss Willis and Hayden's concerned. And so she tells her, girl, you heard me, get your ass in the office. Like, it ain't look something weird is going on. You know it's Hayden and it's something strange going on. So you need to hurry up and get here so we can figure out what's going on. And they both know like he's up to something slimy. So we need to figure out what's going on. Okay. At the airport, Tony tells Danny that you know, he was going to take out to dinner or whatever. However, he had a pre-existing commitment with the kids and he wanted to take them out to dinner, and also goes as far to tell like, hey, yeah, Tiffany's going to be there as well. Tiffany being his ex-wife, or Miss Major, whatever you want to call her. Him and Tiffany are attempting to show a united front to the kids, and Danny thinks that she's trying to reunite herself and feel so good back in this family, but whatever. Tony seems to be oblivious. The kids took the divorce very hard and they want to show the kids that they can still be a family even though they did not work out. Even though, you know, mom and dad are not together, we can still be a great family. And then Danny's like, you know, hey, we know each other very personally. I consider us family. I'll just show up as well? And he's like, nah, not a good idea. Tiffany thinks that it should just be the four of us. And he also goes as far as to say, oh yeah, Tiffany has somebody else, so you know, we're good on that in that front, and thinking she wants to get back good in with me. And you know, he's very much oblivious, and there are 1,000,005 ways to still be a family even though you guys are not married, and intimate dinners and sleepovers and giggling and sniggling and wiping spilt juice out of his lap. None of those are ways, all of which happens within this episode, but whatever. It seems like Tony believes one way and Miss Tiffany is working on another. All right. Ethan shows up to Jordan's place. Finally, he shows up and Jordan asks him, hey, what time did you leave my place last night? Like, you know, just trying to gauge timelines and trying to put some pieces together since he doesn't remember everything. And he claims that it was around 9 o'clock and you walked me out and you were preaching to me about finding a girl as great as Andy and blah, 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 blah. And Ethan claims like, yeah, you know, those drinks were hitting kind of strong last night. Like I even had a difficult time getting home, just lying through his Caucasian teeth, but whatever. Okay. Trey comes to the salon to see Pam. And he's checking in on her business plans to see how things are going. She tells him like, hey, I took my advice about giving out product samples. Mind you, this whole conversation is happening, you know, this close to each other. They're very close. They're very personal in their interactions. Either way, she's giving out the product samples and everybody seems to be on cloud nine. In that moment, Zach shows up at the salon and he is making small talk with Karen and asking her, hey, are the babies kicking? If she needs anything, you know, no, I have everything I need. I'm good to go. And he tells her about his run-in with Aaron and tells him like, hey, like we really bros at this point. We decided that we all on the same page. And I was thinking, and I figured since me and Aaron are on the same page, maybe you and Fatima can do the same thing. And it doesn't fly, not even a little bit. Karen immediately ushers his ass out the door because just because y'all are getting along don't mean me and Fatima have to get along. Karen and Fatima don't have to be friends in the least bit. Cordial? Yeah, depends on who's asking. For the sake of the kids, whatever. Yeah, but they don't have to have a bromance like Aaron and Zach, which I doubt they will have a bromance because they will have differences in opinion in how to raise these two babies. And so, of course, the romance will end. That's just my guess. Okay, Marcus gets home and realizes that Grayson ain't there. He's looking kind of sad and he realizes that Grayson has taken every single thing out of that house that would allude to the fact that he was ever even there. He calls him and he gets straight to voicemail. And so now Marcus is in his feelings because he's like, you know, kind of thinking he done lost his man because he just wanted a little bit of space, but we'll talk about that later. All right. Tony gets to this family meeting, this kumbaya, whatever it is. And Tiffany was like, you know, I know you so well. I know that you're going to be late. I went ahead and ordered a drink for you. And then she was like, oh, well, where's Miss Fannie Mae, Miss whatever, you know, trying to be shady to Danny. And then he's laughing or whatever it is, and he spills his drink in his lap. And she got her little crumpled up paper towel wiping the liquid from his lap. strike two. And then Tiffany brings up some old family memories, just kind of, bringing some stuff back to the surface. And then the daughter asks Tony, like, hey, why is Miss Danny not here? Is it she family? Why she's not here? And of course, Tiffany's giving out her second round of shade on Danny. And Tiffany mentions, like, this is a family dinner. She's not family. So, of course, she's not going to be here. And Tony is like, I'll ask her, maybe she wants to babysit you guys again. She had so much fun the first time. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? And by the end of this episode, with what that little girl does yet again, was stealing something else from Danny, you not welcome back to the Babysitter Club. You're just not going to be welcome back. But we'll get to that by the end of the episode. Either way, Tiffany mentions a slumber party with the kids. And now Tony's looking real confused, looking real dumbfounded because, Danny could see it. But now maybe he's starting to see a little bit of what Tiffany is trying to plan as well. Okay, Sabrina calls Andy to tell her everything that happened with Rich as far as the presumption that she's trying to trap him and, the conversation, everything that they had. And she tells Andy, like, hey, so I took intimacy off the table until we can figure this thing out or until the baby situation is done with. And then Sabrina goes on to tell her, like, hey, I might be wasting my time. And you ain't never said nothing more true in your tenure on this show, Miss Sabrina. You are wasting your time. And I think that there was like a little small part of her that knew that from the beginning, which is why she worked so hard to convince Rich, like, hey, nothing's going to change. Basically, she was operating under the assumption that she's going to be able to compartmentalize relationship from child, and that rarely ever works that way. So she's wasting her time. So like I said, taking intimacy off the table may prolong something that is inevitable at this point, but we'll talk about it when it happens. All right. Maurice is down at the bar. He's down to the bar sulking with his homeboy about Grayson, wiping his entire existence out of that apartment. And his friend tells him, like, listen, you need to go march down there to his house and apologize and go get your man. Blah, 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 blah. And then they spot him across the room talking to someone else. And Maurice goes over there, in true queen fashion and puts on the show like, hey, you better get out of here. Is this why you're not answering my questions? Da 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 da. Scares the other person away. And Grayson tells us, like, hey, that's my coworker. So now Maurice has a little bit of egg on his face, but it's only giving egg white. It's not giving yolk and everything else as it relates to the egg, because that's your coworker, and that's cool. But why y'all at this specific brand of club at this time of night? Ain't that much of sheets and spreadsheets and facts and figures we gonna be going over that late at night. And it don't seem like he had a briefcase or anything work related in hand. Maybe you wanted to show him where your watering hole is. I don't know. And by watering hole, I don't mean nothing weird. I just mean, where he picks men up. I don't know. I don't know how close y'all get to y'all coworkers. I rarely ever get that close to my coworkers. There's only about 3 of them that I've ever gotten personal with, not anything strange. Personable with outside of the office. So I don't play those kinds of games. Oh, question. Let's talk about it in the comments since we're here. Do y'all hang out with y'all coworkers outside of work? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about that, because I find that very, not weird. I find it uncomfortable. I just feel like at any moment I just feel like you're always sitting there collecting information. If I ever piss you off, or if it ever becomes like a me and you situation on a promotion or anything like that, like you're going to do everything you can to throw me under the bus. Or hell, it could be for, a better shift. It could be for any reason. You got this info and this ammunition. I don't know. Maybe I am just a pessimist and always think somebody out to get me. Possibly. But either way, do y'all go with y'all coworkers outside of work? Because I'm good. Either way, Grayson reminds him, like, hey, you were the one that wanted the space. So why are we here? And so, Maurice has to say in true extraness, and he's like, you know what, you got a pimp toy in my house, I'll mail it back to you. I don't want you. So we know that the Grayson Maurice saga is not over, and we're going to hash it out. And of course, there'll probably be next episode. Yay. All right. Zach tells Fatima the same idea of her and Karen squashing their beef that he presented to Karen earlier in the day. And Fatima's a little bit more willing to to concede. She's willing to go along with it. She's like, I'm willing to try, but you need to talk to Karen. Like, she need to be on board because I ain't with the shit. Like, she gonna have to come, like, act like she got some sense. And I agree. If I'm gonna try, she better be trying as well. And I know that Karen is not willing to try, so again, this might not work out no time soon in the foreseeable future. All right. Somebody calls Karen, don't remember who, and tells her that her insurance has lapsed because the company card and the account doesn't have the money on it. And if it's lapsed, then they're calling you, child. It's got to be more than 30 days. It's got to be a little bit more time. And so now we think that it's Pam that's messing up yet again, even though she says she learned from the last time she screwed up this royally. So I don't know. I ain't gonna put it on Pam until we're sure it's her. And then Karen sees Trey through some bushes somewhere. She's walking, tonguing down somebody, and it doesn't appear that person is Pam. And so she hides in the bushes to take some pictures. Of course, it's to bring the information back to Pam. And unfortunately, I don't think that it's from a friend. Girl, hey girl, I saw your man doing this, and this type of place. I think it is from a place of, hey, I told you and Trey wasn't gonna work out. And because I thought you wasn't his caliber woman, and it turns out you are his caliber woman, and he like you and he help you out with your business, boom, here's another reason that you shouldn't like him, and to prove me right that y'all wasn't gonna work out. That's what it's giving, like a little bit of snide, but it's gonna be real nice, nasty when she presents the information. It's giving you want to cut her, but also just give her the information, but we'll see what happens. We'll talk about it next week, because Karen gives that type of, she spits that kind of venom when she wants to be vindicated, unfortunately. Okay, Andy tells Jordan that he got to curb that drinking. You got to slow it down. Like, I know we're going through a lot, but we need to keep our head on. We got the campaign that's still going on. Let's settle down. So we're still operating under the assumption that, he was just heavily drunk last night, which we know as the viewer that that's not the case, but we're going to go with it. That's not the way you solve your problems. Blah, blah, blah. And then she goes on to tell him, like, maybe I could tell you something to make you smile, whatever, whatnot. And then she tells him, like, I love you. I thought she was going to tell him about Penelope. And by the end of the scene, her big mouth ass is still going to tell him. But let's move on. Whole time we hear Gary listening in on the conversation, because we know he has her place bugged as well as Jordan's. And so Jordan is like, hey, let's do something a little different tonight. Let's say some grace. Let's say some prayer. Let's get in this thing. Let's summon the outside power, to intercede on our behalf. And he's saying the grace over the food, and then he goes into this prayer. He's praying for his sister, and he really hopes she's great, and wherever she is, just keep her safe. And we need her home, and it's giving that auntie that's so saved. Let she bleed the blood. She might be Jesus' second cousin, sister, baby mom, and them. Real saved. And she can't just say God is great, God is good. She can't say the grace and sit down. She got to be thankful for the plates, for the spoons, the forks, and knives, and Food Lion. That type of prayer. Like, he was going on and on and on, and he was almost getting real Baptist preacher with it, but gentrified version, because I don't think he got that kind of sweat in him. Either way, Andy cannot bear to hear this prayer because he's so anguished about his sister, and she cuts him off. She cuts him off and tells him, like, okay, Penelope's fine. I saw her. She's in witness protection. She's undercover. The FBI wants me and her to investigate. Like, it was word vomit. It was word. There was no stopping. There was no taking it back. She poured everything on the table. And now, of course, he is mad again because you knew this information and you saw me over here going crazy about my sister. Like, girl, what's wrong with you? But that ain't even the worst part of the scene. The worst part of the scene is now that Gary also has all of this information to leverage against you, Andy, because you can't shut the hell. Oh, that pissed me off. Oh, it pisses me off so bad. I literally was screaming at the TV, girl, shut the hell up. Like, you were in the clear. That man was just saying a prayer. You had lightened his load. You expressed, that we needed to slow down on this lift. Everything was copacetic. He was just saying a little prayer. And you just couldn't handle it. You can't. Remind me, don't commit no crimes with Andy. I mean, don't commit crimes at all. But not with Andy, because she is going to fall under pressure. And you a lawyer. Where's your poker face? Lawyers lie every day, all day. You don't know how to shut up. Either way, it pissed me off. Whatever. Now we got to deal with that. And the next day, same day, whatever, Andy's getting out of her car and Gary rolls up on her and he pulls out the stage photo of Jordan with the prostitutes or whatever, and he claims that he also has video proof just to let her know, like, hey, this ain't no Photoshop type situation. And if you're gonna blackmail somebody, I guess that's the way to do it. Get photos, get irrefutable evidence, which it appears that he has. And he's threatening to leak the photos to the public, which is going to ruin Jordan's political career. He tells her, like, listen, it ain't Jordan is a casualty. It ain't Jordan I want. It's you, Mr. Andy Barnes. I want to be miserable with you for the rest of my black ass life. And I will do anything to do it. If that means ruining Jordan in the process, oh well. Okay, then he tells her that no one will want a counselor who takes dirty money, which that is the donation that he gave Jordan some time ago. This is some dirty money that he got from the cartel. And then he spills the fact about their houses being bugged, and that the cartel invested in his hedge funds, which I'm going to presume is the money that he stole. But he's going to, basically paint the trail back to Jordan and put a price on his head and kind of let the cartel do his dirty work as far as unaliving Jordan. All of this is if Andy doesn't do what he asks her to do in this moment. And what he wants her to do is marry him. He proposes and he was like, hey, do you mind being miserable with me for the rest of our miserable lives? And Andy's like, boy, you done lost your damn mind. He's like, no. Actually, you're going to lose yours if you don't do what I say. Like, I'm going to leak this stuff to Jordan. I'm going to put the cartel on his ass. All this Penelope stuff going to stop. Or you're going to end up like my son. Mind you, this is the son that he force aborted. That he caused Penelope to miscarry by being violent with her in the previous episodes. And that is how the episode ends. And Andy's kind of between a rock and a hard place and another hard place, like, all because of the fact her mouth. It's some of this is on you. Like, I ain't saying you deserve it, but I ain't saying you off completely scot-free either. So that is how we end the episode. And in the projections, well, previews for next week, we see that Tony's daughter, again, Miss Sticky Fingers, is touching stuff. Miss Tiffany rolls up on Danny and confronts her about the little girl. I'm going to assume that it's a stolen vape pen. Was found in her book bag, and now we have to deal with another instance again where these children are touching things without permission, touching things that don't belong to them. And if y'all want to be the Cleavers or the freaking Cosby family, teach her to not steal, perhaps. That would be a great lesson. Either way, that has been the episode. That's been season 7, episode 17. Let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you think, what you want to talk about. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.